Remember, Peter, never walk anywhere when you can ride something weird instead.
What's that?
Oh, it's cold outside. I have something new to talk about today. Not about these two guys. Today we're going to talk about something new. It's still an electric vehicle, but something that probably you haven't heard about. Yes, as I said, today we are going to have something special here. It's another fantastic piece of tech. And it's not Tesla, not any of electric cars at all, but electric vehicle at its best. We are going to talk about this. And in my opinion, this is the best last mile electric vehicle. And taking it further, not just last mile. This is called an electric unicycle or EUC. And these things are not so popular yet, for example as electric scooters, which are widely available in big cities. I believe that every one of you at least once tried them or saw them on the streets in your town. And they are fun for sure, but this thing is completely killing it. So let's start. The logic of this thing is similar to Segway. But instead of Segway that has two wheels, EUCs have just one wheel. Also inside there is a gyroscope, one electric motor, one motherboard, a bunch of batteries similar to those that you have in your Teslas, and the regular wheel. You lean forward, it accelerates, you lean back, it slows down. For turns you use the center of mass. Just slightly lean to the side and you are already cutting a curve. And don't mix it up with a toy. It's not a toy, it's a full-height electric vehicle class here. It has two foldable pedals. When you ride, you just step on them. It has an expandable handle, so you can roll it as a suitcase when you need it. It has a front light and a rear light. It has two charging USB ports and two charging ports for your wheel. The specs may vary, but this particular model of mine, for example, has 1 kilowatt battery pack and a powerful electric motor that can carry some relatively fat people up to 300 pounds. If this means nothing to you, here you go. The range is 90 kilometers, with a maximum speed about 50 kilometers per hour. I'm a pretty tall and big person and I've never finished in one day. The maximum I could do riding it was about 76 kilometers of range, and I was tired because I spent a lot of time riding this baby and I still had 26 battery left, which is crazy. And this is not even the latest model. The most recent 2019 models have even more range. They look about the same, but have a bigger battery pack and the range of 150 kilometers. And now imagine that this thing that has more range than the first gen Nissan Leaf can fit in the frunk of my Model X. So look at this beauty, and it's a lot of space around here just for your, I don't know, safety gear, your luggage and things like that. This is crazy what technology can achieve nowadays. Easily. Not that bad for a last mile vehicle, huh? And actually I've been using it a lot on my road trip recently. For example, a few months ago I had a 7,500 miles road trip through North America. I kept it in the front of my car all the time and I put it out only when I needed to see more cool places around. And I must say, it's a great time saver. For example, I took it to the Grand Canyon and I ride my wheel along the canyon, and I was able to see way more during that day and I was way more relaxed than if I just walked. If I convinced you slightly and you decided to research it a little bit more, I'll give you some tips. First is the price, because you need to know what to expect. I would say that the lowest price tag that makes sense is about $1,500, going up to $2,500. I'll explain it. Some people may argue and say that you can find something way cheaper, but in my opinion, you need to spend a little bit more money to be on the safer side than spend less money and hurt yourself because you bought not a quality product. The nature of this thing is simple. You're trying to fall forward and the wheel is trying to catch you. And this is the way you control the wheel. To catch your body, it uses its electric motor, and the motor should be really powerful to hold your weight all the time. And it needs more batteries to get this power, so the rule is simple. Unfortunately, the more you weigh, the more expensive wheel you need to get. But $1,500 is not that expensive for something that in theory can solve your commuting problem or give you a lot of fun or save you some time. The reality is there are only 3 brands that make sense to consider when you are buying an EUC: Kingsong, Gotway and InMotion. I would say that first 2 are the best and InMotion is far behind. There are just 2 rules. You should never reach the maximum speed or you can fall because you may overload the motor. Especially if you're a heavy guy like me. If the maximum speed is 50, you go 40 and leave the gap for your safety. These wheels have some safety features like sound signals and they lift pedals when there is a risk of overloading the motor, but you still need to keep it in mind. The second rule is less specific and straightforward. If you ride it faster than you're able to run, let's say 15 km per hour, you should buy safety gear.
So, if you ask, is it safe? Well, yes, it is safe if you have gear, because as all good vehicles it can go fast. So I prefer to have good gear just to be on the safe side. I saw some people riding this thing with no gear at all, but I prefer to have wrist protection, knee protection, a good helmet with chin protection. I have another one here and another one not as good here. This was actually a mistake when this started. So this one is very good for summer. This one all season good. This thing is just amazing.
So how does it feel to ride? The answer is fantastic. The most popular question I get from people is it hard to ride it? Or another variation of it, is it hard to balance it? And the answer is no. It is very intuitive. It is as natural as walking, for example. Really, when you ride it, you feel similar to floating over the ground. It is so effortless and natural that you feel like you are flying over the earth, among people, along with the trees and parks and cars and bicycles. It is amazing. The reason for that is simple. There is no interface between you and this vehicle, nothing to use to control this device. If you need to accelerate, you accelerate. If you need to slow down, you do that. You do that without thinking that acceleration requires pressing some button or a pedal or pressing a brake pedal to brake. There is nothing like that. There are no such things. It feels as natural as walking. When you are walking, you don't think that you need to walk faster. You just start walking faster. Riding EUC feels very fun, very smooth and very, very addictive. And it is very maneuverable. You can quickly slow down and safely ride it among crowds of people without risking hitting them. I would not recommend doing that, but you get the idea. Talking about downsides, this is why this piece of tech is not as popular as electric scooters, for example. The learning curve takes some time. The reason is simple. You need to teach your brain to trust the wheel, that it's going to hold and carry you and won't let you down or drop it on the ground. And it isn't very easy. The process is similar to how you learn riding a bike. I mean, when you were a kid. For me personally, it took a couple of weeks of 1 hour training every day. I had nobody to help me though. Some people who have a helping hand catch it during a day. However, you need to wait for some kind of a click in your mind when you couldn't stand on it just a minute ago, and now you're riding your first mile. And it's a strange feeling when you get it, and after it looks ridiculously simple. Just remember, when I was learning it, I was cursing everything. People who recommended it my stupidity because I spent some money on it and started to think that it's not as fun as it looked and everything. But after I started riding it, I completely changed my opinion. This is very important. Just try it, and after you think that it's time to give up, don't do that. And you'll thank me later. Also, you can thank me if you hit that like button for YouTube algorithms and subscribe to this channel. I hope it was a good video, and we'll see you later.